Welcome. Come on in. Turn the volume up. We're sharing some good information today. That's for all of you listening with your volume down. Let me adjust you just a moment. There we go. Hey, if you've ever thought about writing a book today, I promise you 100%, and today is Sunday, so it really counts, that you're going to love this Facebook Live that I'm about to share with you. I am live in just a few moments with new author Pierra Fab Diva Collins. So look for her on Facebook, tag her. She'll be on in just a moment, sharing more about a phenomenal new book she just wrote and I helped promote. Excuse me. Get a little sip of green tea. Shouts out to Panera Bread. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Andrika J. Austin. I go by AJ for short. I am a master business coach. I have fallen in love with helping coaches convert conversations to clients, cash, checks, and credit cards. So today is going to be a perfect example opportunity of how you can take what you know, put it in the form of a book, and start to make money. So this is my second success story where I attended her event live where she did her first book signing. My first event, which was a new author that I'm going to try to get on for you guys later on. She made about $500, sold about 50 copies of her first book. Listen, that's exciting when you just wrote a book, right? So I am a new nerd, not a new nerd, I'm a book nerd. Excuse me, something's in my throat. I'm a book nerd. Author of 8 books, working on book. Now, I can't even show y'all my mess right now. I'm embarrassed to even put that on camera. But I'm working through book number 8 right now called The Boss of Me, The Struggle to Success. And then I am showing you guys how to put that same information into practice for yourself. So if you're live with us, let me see a show of hands, maybe some hearts, some likes, some thumbs up. If you wrote a book, or want to write a book, especially this year. If so, I got some good news coming up for you. But again, we're going to feature our success story. I just wanted to take a moment to let you guys know that books is what I do. And listen, you're only one sentence, one paragraph, one conversation away from putting your genius onto paper. So if you need help with that, head over to thebossof.me/write. Again, thebossof.me/write. And as we join with our new author coming up really soon, I'm going to share with you guys how you can get help with not only publishing your book, but promoting it, because that's the best part. So I'm going to take a moment and invite our author on. Hey, Pierra, I see you, girl. Let's see. Here we go. So I'm adding you now. So just look for an invitation. All right. There we go. All right. So we're waiting for author Pierra Fab Diva Collins to come on with us. Hey, girl, you are sideways.
Am I? Oh my God, I'm trying. Okay, I guess I'm.
Yeah, that way. That way. Yeah, that works. How are you?
I'm outstanding. How are you?
I'm good. You look beautiful.
Bless your heart. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, listen, I sat and read. I would not let myself go to sleep till about, I think I went to sleep at about 6 a.m., believe it or not. And I was determined to read cover to cover what this book was all about, what I was helping to put out there. Honestly, I hadn't taken a moment to just sit and read, but I wanted to know what we would be talking about, and I know you did too. So I said, let me just surprise her and tell her what I discovered by reading this bestseller. So you ready to chat?
Okay. I am.
Hey, Ingrid. Ain't Ingrid? Is that Ain't Ingrid popping on here?
That's my auntie Ingrid. Yes, that's my ride or die right there.
Hey, girl. So I put it out there. I know you're not ashamed. I can tell from this book that you are not ashamed to share your story of going from stripping to now salvation. And then I even started to place pieces of the puzzle together as I was reading, saying, oh, this may be leading up to this and this. So it really had me captivated from page to page just to see how you brought your story, and now, like you mentioned, you're sharing it with millions of women. So can you take a moment to just talk about maybe like the inspiration behind the book? You there?
Nothing on.
Okay.
Okay, can you see me?
Yeah, I see you. So it's freezing a little bit. Just take a moment, tell people who you are and a little bit about your book.
Okay, well, first of all, I am author Pierra Collins. I am first a woman of God. I am a mother of 2 gorgeous daughters. I am a wife of a king that adores me. And let me say, it hadn't always been that way. So I take pride when I introduce myself, being humble, first of all, but grateful at the same time, because there's a lot I can say about that, the introduction, because like I said, it hadn't always been that way, but God is simply amazing. He has showed himself strong on my behalf on so many occasions. The book does not even touch the surface, but I
I
try to
can
be,
tell.
um,
Yes.
yeah, I try to be, as tasteful as I could possibly be.
Right.
So I'm excited about the interview and to share.
Good. So if you see me look down, it's because I'm looking to for my notes because I didn't want to forget what I wanted us to talk about. So I hope you got a moment to just brag on this bestseller and let's dive into what's in at least the first chapter or so of the book. Is that okay?
I apologize because I'm getting messages that's coming through. So when it comes through, it's like blacking you out. So I'm getting parts of it. I'm not sure if it's happening on your end.
No, I see you. Everything is working fine. Y'all leave her alone. She's on
Well,
TV right now. Okay, y'all give her a minute. So what I was
amen,
saying,
amen, amen.
we're going to just dive into some highlights from the book, at least the first chapter, if you don't mind just sitting
Okay,
and chatting a bit about what's there. And let's entice
absolutely.
the people enough to make them go get the copy of the book at Amazon.
How
Go
about
ahead
that?
and let me see if I can. We'll add your link to how to find your book after the broadcast, if that's okay, because I'm scared mine may mess up on my end too.
Awesome.
All right,
Awesome.
so
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. And in the background, guys, if you hear noise, that's because it's hot. We're in Hotlanta. I'm sitting here in a tank top on Facebook
Yes.
Live. That shows you that it's no joke out here today. So I'm just giving you the heads up because it's always noise. Either my earrings are hitting something or the heater's going, and now it's the fan. But anyway, listen intently, okay? So even starting with the dedication, I love how you dedicated your book to beautiful mother, Queen Esther Washington. And you said she will always be your greatest inspiration in life. I love the fact that you shared how close you and your mother were. You shared your relationship and how she even spoke life into you birthing this book. Tell us more about that.
Okay, well, let me say this is my third um, Mother Day without my mom. She passed away almost 3 years ago on my birthday. So I thought uh, that's so. My mom has been everything to me. When the Lord spoke clear vision through cloudy eyes to me, I had no clue because I've never wanted to write a book. Let me say that. Never wanted to write a book. And so when I heard it twice and I was home alone. So I was like, okay, what is that? Clear vision through cloudy eyes. And I called my mom, shared with her, and she immediately said, hey, that sounds like your book. I said, honey, I'm not writing no book. I got jumped. I got real jump, a whole lot of
Yeah.
mess
And you
that
put
I
that in the
want to
book
take to my
too.
grave with me. Yes, honey, I was taking that to the grave. I'm just gonna be real about it. But the Lord, He dealt with me a little bit on it. And she said, well, she said, share. I said, Mama, what am I gonna share? I was a stripper. I was a sophisticated whore. Honey, what am I gonna tell them? Really. So I was really hesitant about sharing simply because I have two daughters. And thank God they are nothing like their mama used to be. Hallelujah for deliverance. And so I didn't want to expose them so much because I was really concerned about them because I know people can be cruel. Children can be even crueler. And so I didn't want that for them. So I was kind of leery about it. But anyway, she continued to talk. And my mom had a way of speaking to me and my other siblings, and there are a lot of us, and the way that she talks. And when she speaks, we listen, just the same as my dad. And so she can make you see the sun on a rainy day, and she has a way. So anyway, she got my
Yeah,
attention.
I
She
love
got my
that.
attention as always. And so as she began to talk, the Lord began to deal with me on a testimony that I had gotten from Prophet Cindy Trim, Dr. Cindy Trim, years ago, prior
Yeah.
to me hearing the voice of the Lord, uh,
Right.
clear vision through cloudy eyes. And so Mama has been just that inspiration. And so she's went home to be with the Lord. I'm happy about it because she's no longer suffering. But had it not been for her, I probably would not have written the book. I will say that. And then the Lord
Well,
had to deal
thank
with
you,
me on another
Mama.
level.
We
That
appreciate
thank
mothers.
you, Mama Queen. Yes.
Yes, Mama Queen. And listen,
Thank you,
she's not
Mama Queen.
alone. She is not alone on this beautiful Mother's Day. My mother is in heaven as well. She passed the same day as my divorce became final. So we got some stories to share, right?
about that? Yes, honey.
Yes. So
Stories.
thank you for
Yes,
those
yes.
contributions to the story. And also, one of your best friends, Tiki, I saw that you dedicated in her memory. But before she passed, I see she got a chance to kind of write a review and a testimonial for the book. Is that right?
She absolutely did. She absolutely
I thought
did.
that was
She
so
absolutely did.
beautiful.
So that was a
Awesome. So
blessing.
they're all in
That was,
heaven smiling down.
oh my. Yeah, yes, they are. Yeah.
Yeah, and so because of their inspiration, we thank you for allowing them to push you, because some people would have pushed back, but you kept going. And
Absolutely.
just to drop a little
Yeah.
teaser for those of you who have not seen the Facebook Live from about a week ago when Pierra had her first book signing, she's legally blind, and it dives into her story throughout the book about how it happened in the middle of the highway. You got to go to bit.ly/clear vision book. Get your copy, because we're not going to tell you all the secrets, because we want you to get it and read it like I did. Like I said, I didn't let myself sleep, and I didn't realize I was forcing myself to stay awake to finish this book so we can have some juicy tidbits to dive into. So
Amen. Amen.
Allison Marks, who wrote your foreword, she said that your book is a story of the power of forgiveness and the reward of a life committed to the Father. I thought that was beautifully
Mm,
written.
very profound. Amen.
Yeah, and
Amen. And
she went on
Allison,
to say, go ahead.
no, no, I'm sorry. I selected her. I prayed about it, but I knew she was the perfect person to write the forward because we have a lot of history together, and we've been friends and sisters for 20 plus years, and she's been there through it all. She's seen it, at the lowest, at my lowest point. So she was that perfect person, and she described it. And Allison has a way with words. I always say her words, they just bring me life. They jump off the page at me. I just love to hear her speak about anything. And she always has a sense of humor and a twist with it. And she's also an amazing woman of God, a pastor as well. So she was that perfect person, but she could speak on it, and so she knows my truth. And so I thought she did an excellent
Yeah.
job with doing the
And I
forward.
could tell. I
Yeah.
could tell she really knew you personally. She says in your forward, what Pierra has chosen to share in this written testimonial is an honest, transparent, riveting recount of some of her most challenging yet cathartic life experiences. She also talks about, as her words expose what most would like to hide, readers will be forced to reflect on their own challenges and mistakes and be inspired to rely on the same God to bring them to their place of victory. That girl is good.
She is something else, honey. A piece of work. Dr. Alice Marks is no joke. Yeah.
She is good. So, Dr. Marks, thank you for your words. And she says, anyone who reads will undoubtedly be touched by her plight, identify with her struggles, and celebrate how she overcame, realizing that we can too. So, if that doesn't get you interested in finding out what's next about this stripper story and her alter ego that we're going to talk about in a minute, because I heard you guys say Nefertiti at the signing, but I didn't know what you were talking about until literally this morning, and I got a feel for who Nefertiti is, and I want to talk more about her because that applies to some people in business as well. We can dive into that in a minute, but I just wanted to get my little talk points out, and then let's dive into some more of your story and what you really want people to get from this book, because I can see your heart for sharing your story and who you really wanted it to hit.
Thank you.
So let's see.
Absolutely.
After being delivered from the stronghold known as a promiscuous spirit of 14 years, I made a promise to God that I would interrupt the devil's series of plans, plots, and schemes to destroy any young lady that crossed my path. Talk about that more. And Ingrid,
Oh
stop
my
starting
God.
stuff. I see your comment on here. Ingrid's like, talk about Nefertiti.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yo. Amen. So let me say, I see the messages moving, but I'm not able to read anything. So I will go back and read and think the comments or whatever that's coming because I see it moving and coming up, but I can't see who it is or what they're saying. So please forgive me
I
for not
got you on
responding
my
now.
end. Don't
But
worry.
anyway, okay, thanks so much. Yes, but Nefertiti was my alter ego and she was something ratchet. Okay. Nefertiti was I gotta keep it real, honey. She was just ratchet. Nefertiti was selfish. She loved people. but she was very selfish because Nefertiti was all about her and what she wanted, and would go there to get whatever it took to get that. So I had a way with men. I had a way with my words. Walking into a room, I could capture them with these eyes, and not the eyes that you're seeing, but these are the eyes that God has blessed me with with implants after 8 major surgeries. So, but before the implant, the eyes that God blessed me with, they were dangerous. They were I used them not for the good that God had given them to me, just, beautiful eyes to do some things for him, I guess, but I didn't know that at the time. And so I had a way that I could capture men with those dreary eyes. And I did not do it, I guess, use it for what God is using. So now here I am.
Yeah, and that goes back to even keeping going with being pushed to write this book. Although you put the argument between you and your mom, like, I ain't writing no book. Like, you literally put those words in there. I was like, go girl, telling the truth, because a lot of people leave out stuff, just like Dr. Marks was saying. Some people want to hide the very things you put into this book, and you really told what I call details of your story. But what you did mention, which left me on a cliffhanger, because I was like, things are getting ready to sprout up. Something is coming. Who knows what's gonna happen? This is so exciting. Let me pause a minute. I think we just lost our guest. Hold on, y'all. Let me try to find her again. I think she may have had a bad connection or something's going on with Facebook. Let's see. There we go. So I'm going to add her again. Give us one moment to bring our guest back on. She is coming on as we speak. There we go.
I don't know what happened, but I'm back.
It's okay. It is okay. I got your back. So what I was saying was, you kind of set us up for what was getting ready to come in the book when you put this quote. You said, be very mindful of the seed you sow, because it has a reaping date.
Oh,
I've never heard it put that way.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And what that is, he was ratchet, okay? So the highest level. She was a very sophisticated whore, got any and everything she wanted. Honey, I would take trips, and I didn't have to buy a ticket. I didn't have to take a toothbrush. If they wanted me to travel and I wanted to go, they took care of me when I got there. And so with that being said, there's a whole lot in that bag, but they'd have to read about it, and then get me in the Q&A, and let's talk a little bit more about that. But with Nefertiti, I will say the reaping season, there were married men. And let me say, I didn't go out seeking married men, but whatever, there was something had to be within myself, I believe, that I was drawing those type of men to me. And so I didn't go out, or when I was in the strip club, dropping it like it was hot and making it rain. Yes, Mr. Collins, the intercessor, that was me, making it rain. I didn't know, these gentlemen were married. But when I found out, then the responsibility fell on me. And what did I do about it? I continued. And so here I am, a married woman of 23 years, but had no idea that I would be married with children and not thinking anything about my future. But at the age of 21, 22, 23, you're not thinking about your future. You're thinking about the now.
Right.
And so that's what I want to reach the ladies and let them know, the young ladies, baby, be careful what you do, because 21, 23 years old, you will always be that, eventually be that woman. And so on the other side, the flip side, I became a wife, and I find myself going through some of the same things that I had went through, that I put another wife through. I never met the wives. I didn't seek out the married man. But when I entertained them and they said that they were married, or I found out they were married, in my young mind, young, dumb, and we used to say, we had a saying, young, dumb, and full of cum. That was us. That was me. And so we're young and selfish. All we want is what we want. And so when I found out they were married, I should have cut it, but I didn't do that. I continued because why? I was getting what I wanted. And so here I am on the flip side now, married, and my husband is saying that he's one place, but he's really somewhere else.
Okay, so pause, because you're giving away the story. You're getting ahead of me. Slow down, slow down.
Okay, you better tell Arthur Collins, because I'll go left and not give you on out there. I want to help.
You will go there, and you go there in your book. For those of you just joining us, because I know there's people are popping on and off, new author, Pierra Collins of the new best-selling book, Clear Vision Through Cloudy Eyes. And you have to read the book. You can get your copy over at bit.ly/Clear Vision Book. And she'll tell you the story behind why it's called that, how her mom inspired it, and why everything set up from that point leads to what she just told us a little bit about. You mentioned in chapter 1, and we're just staying in chapter 1, guys, and it's 9 chapters, so you got to go get the book to find out things like how she met her husband, how she lost her job, she got evicted, she survived infidelity. She kind of hinted on some of that just a moment ago. And then she learned the power of prayer and praise. She also came into contact with prophets like Dr. Cindy Trim, who spoke into her life, and eventually, you know, she lost her mom, and then she lost her sight. So if that's not enough to get you to go over to bit.ly/Clear Vision Book, I don't know what is, because as you read, you'll start to get revelations. And let me tell you, before I forget this part, since you kind of talked about where you started and where you are now as far as a wife, what I noticed in your book, I'm going at it with different lenses on as a master business coach, a book coach, and then helping you market and promote your story. I'm seeing how you point out different things that you should have at an early age set yourself up to meet in a guy. So what I found, as the closer I got to the end of the book, I was making a list of new characteristics that I had not even considered. I think I put it over with my other personal paperwork, but I now have a newer list. Okay, I thought I had like 100+ things that I was looking for, but learning from your story is definitely going to help other women to be more alert. You're kind of like, look at what I did and avoid those mistakes. So I can honestly say that was my journey early this morning reading your book. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, and let's see. Okay, so the objective of what's getting people to pop on and off, they see that title of you going from a stripper to saved. And like you say, talking about stripping and your mom asking you, well, what do you do exactly at this strip club? That's such a taboo topic, especially in the Christian community. So like, I even find myself kind of like, wait, don't tell that part. But it's in your book. You put it out there. And I really commend you and advise you to pat yourself on the back for being this bold and brave. But you also talked about being raised, and your mom said, you know, you learn how to sing like a canary, tell it all, you know. But most women are not that bold and brave about their story. So I love the fact that your book, Clear Vision Through Cloudy Eyes, guys, bit.ly/Clear Vision Book, talks about how God can transform you from a nightclub stripper to a saved, Proverbs 31 visionary, an entrepreneur, wife, mother, and intercessor. Okay, whoo, got me sweating over here. Oh, that's just the introduction. I'm thinking I'm in chapter 1. Listen, you got some good stuff in here. You got some really good stuff in here. Ingrid says, my sister is fierce. Yes, she is, girl. So let's talk more about one of the headings that I put on the video that I shared from your book signing, mentioned that you were legally blind, but you still wrote a book. Can we take a moment to minister to someone who is watching this now, or maybe they'll watch the replay in the future, because someone just taught me at church how to go and archive my videos so she doesn't have to scroll through my timeline. So there will be a woman watching this, and she's given me and herself every excuse to why she can't write a book. I mean, I have heard it all. And some people have even gotten mad at me because they want me to wait on them or keep begging them or hold them accountable. But here you are, have went through all of this. And like you said, you only touched the tip of the iceberg in your book, but you wrote a book. Legally blind, used to be a stripper, now saved, sanctified, intercessor, woman of God. Can you minister just for a moment to those who are given any excuse to why they can't get their book out, and show them how you had every excuse, but you still did it?
Well, first I would say move self out of the way. Move self out of the way. When you take yourself out the equation and know that it's all about God and nothing to do with you, it has nothing to do with you, then you'll write the book. You'll write the book. Because again, like you said, I made excuses. I told my mom my past was too ugly. I'm not the first stripper, that has been delivered. No, clearly not. But I am one of the boldest one that talked about it, wrote about it, and I'm traveling. I'm that. that woman. So everybody will maybe on a sidebar have a little conversation. Oh yeah, girl, I used to do it. No, I need to put it in the book. And God said, this isn't about you. It's about your testimony. I want you to tell how and what I've done for you, how I delivered you, how I cleaned you up because I was wretched. I was
Yeah.
just, I mean, to the highest level of stank, okay? Highest level of stank. That was me. I was good at what I did for the Lord, but I am trying to do even greater works for him now. I mean, what I did for the devil. So now I'm doing greater works for the Lord. So my words, I guess I would say, is just move yourself out of the way. Forget about you, because the testimony is not, it's about you, but it's about your past, but it is just talking about the goodness of God and what he can and will do if you open your heart and allow him to just be God. Pastor said today, let go and let God. Well, that's what I did. So no
Amen.
excuses. Just write the book.
Thank you so much for that. I see Haranithia on here. Haranithia, you supposed to call me back, girl. You got a voicemail on your answer machine from me waiting on you. Let's talk about that book, girl.
Yes,
All right. And shout out
that's
to
right.
Tracy, who's at your book signing, that told me about her BFF who has a new book. So I can't wait to see what God is doing for her next level as well. So Pierra,
Amen.
let's dive more into, you said on this journey called life, the Lord has a way of getting your attention. God will allow you to go through challenges in order to get to your destiny. Um, and so you started that story because this leads to how you became, you said, a self-made Atlanta native. I love that because I'm born and raised in Atlanta, really West Georgia, so Douglasville, but I know that all of the friends that I went to school with, most of them stayed here. Everybody wanted to come and experience this thing we knew yearly called Freaknik. And it was
Oh
funny
my.
because I was talking to one of my first boyfriends from high school, and we were talking about Freaknik and looking up videos on YouTube. And it was just so funny to see that I was telling, my point to him was, this big thing that brought so many people to Atlanta, now there's no proof that it ever existed. So all we have are these
Mhm.
stories. You meet very few people that
Right.
have pictures from Freaknik or t-shirts. It's like we knew it was here, but this generation will never know what Freaknik in Atlanta was like. So that started you on your path here to be a Georgia peach, right?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And
I
so
came
you
for the
thought,
weekend and never left.
oh my gosh, okay. So I know you started to get familiar. I love what I did admire, and I said I probably need to try this because, like I said, I'm from here, so we take advantage of what's here. So half the stuff that people come into town to visit, I probably never been to, just because I know it's there for whenever I'm ready. But you mentioned
Right.
you came down for the weekend, you stayed, and this is in your book. You rode the MARTA
Hmm.
train one day, and then you learned all the stops. So that's how you learned where to go. And I know we're giving away the book, but I just was just engulfed in your story. Like, she really came and made Atlanta, Georgia her home, and now she's telling this story in this beautiful book, Clear Vision Through Cloudy Eyes. I love it.
Yes, ma'am. I came for the weekend and I never left. And my mother said, when are you coming back? And her words were cuz. So she said, when are you coming back, cuz? I said, honey, I am hanging out. I won't be back right now. She said, well, you don't have family there. I said, Mama, I'll be fine. And so my mom would laugh at me. She said, everybody is your friend. I said, well, he's just my friend. He'll give me a ride. He's my friend. So everybody was my friend. But I got here, and of course, I ditched him, and I hadn't seen him ever since. But I got on that MARTA train, and I learned the rail from northbound, southbound from the airport, and learned it in one day. And on that Monday morning, I went to the underground. I had an interview. I filled out an application, got a job at Georgiou, which is a clothing store that specializes in raw silk, which is no longer in business in the underground. And then I worked directly across the hall at Mix. And so God blessed me with two jobs in that one day. And on that Tuesday morning, I took that time. I went and, applied for my food stamp so I could eat. I had a job, I had clothes. So I was straight. And God has done the rest. He has kept me from that day to this day.
Yes, and this is all pre-stripper days, so before that even got started. So I really appreciated the background story. And when you mentioned Mix, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even hear that name anymore. I used to love
That's
going to
right.
Mix when I was younger. They
Yes.
had the best chicken fingers and French fries. I'm
Yes,
vegetarian now,
they
but
did.
I appreciated them when they were there. So let's
Yes.
see what else I have. You mentioned blind faith. Now, as I was reading it, like I mentioned, I read it from a different perspective. You just mentioned going into your story with blind faith. Tell us more about that.
Just not knowing what God was going to allow me to share. I didn't know what he was going to, I guess, mandate, make me share really, because there's some things and I put it in, I taken it out, and I went back and forth because I was like, okay, God, well, can I just say this but not say that part? Can I say, God said, look, write the book. And so when I,
Right.
like I said again, when I moved myself out of the way, I just stepped out there and trusted God and said, whatever it is that you want me to say, I came to a point, whatever it is that you want me to put in the book, then that's what I'm going to do, because obviously it's for someone else. And so my faith began to grow even the more. It shocked me, because I've always been a believer, but didn't always walk it. You know how sometimes we give God something and then we have a tendency to take it back. And so that's what I was doing in the process of the book. And let me say, the process was 9 years. 9 years. And so here it is, my birthing season, my birthing month, 9 years, God, unveiled the book, and it was time for me to birth. And he said, this is your year. And so it took a lot of faith, because I had to, talk to my husband, and he's been open, thank God, about what I shared. He never said never one day, well, don't put this in there or don't include me. And so, God worked it out, because I was really concerned, like I said. So I had to just have faith and said, okay, God, when I approach this conversation, what is it that I'm supposed to talk about, or what is it you want me to put in the book? And so my faith has grown. Our faith as a couple have grown. Our faith as a family have grown, because my daughters tell me every day, Mom, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. They're selling books and all this stuff. So it has been an amazing journey. And the faith walk is just unbelievable, because I didn't know, how it was going to turn out. And the outpour support that I've received is blowing my mind. But I'm just grateful for everything he's done this far.
Yeah, and so when I read it and I seen the words blind faith, I think that should be the name of your second book.
Well, maybe
So
the
let me
third
take
book,
on
because
this.
my husband and I have already started. God has given us the second title already. My husband and I are actually recording now, so we're already started. We started on our book
Okay.
together. God has given
So
me
third
something,
book,
and he did that,
one of the
yeah, before
books.
my mother passed. Yeah. So the
Yes.
second book is on its way, but
Good. I'm
it's for
glad to hear that. So
yeah.
blind faith
Yes,
need to be at least one of the books in the series. When I seen that and tying it
I
in with
received
you
that.
being legally blind and telling your story, let me engulf the spirit of, what was it, Mother Queen Mother? How I say it right? Your
Amen.
mother's name?
You did. You
Let me take
did.
on
Mama Queen.
Dr. Trim. Let me take on all that and say blind faith is one of the names of another one of your books. Um,
I received that in the name of Jesus. Yeah.
yeah, and speaking of your book signing where you had so much support, listen, you did a great job. I know you said you had like 60 books there.
Oh my
And when
goodness.
I left, I was counting 8. I know we had some more tucked away in the box that we found out about later,
I did.
but you did a
I did.
phenomenal job. And before I left, I asked your daughter, I told her, I said, tell your mom how much she made in sales, because that's encouragement. Number one, you didn't want to write a
Exactly.
book. Number two, you wrote a book, Legally Blind. Number three, you sharing your story of going from stripping to salvation. Number four, you should be able to brag that you are a best-selling author who sold how many ever books you sold that day, who made how much ever money that you made that day. That's a bragging right. So when I tell people
Amen.
about your success and where you started, going from not knowing what to expect to wrapping up, and you had a financial amount that could look back at you and say, this is how well you did today. That is what we use in
Amen.
the coaching industry. Again, I am a master business coach. You have to take that number, and that's now your truth, to say, this is how my story is starting to influence men, women, children around the world, and it's shown in numbers. Because like Jay-Z says, numbers don't lie. So those are your numbers. So
That's
keep
right.
that in mind. That's just been in my head since we talked, yesterday or the day before. Just know your
Praise the
numbers
Lord.
and be able to
Okay.
brag, because that's going to be your bragging right when you go in front of these women who are going to want to know how you made it out, and then what the benefit of you writing this story and telling the world. Like some people say, why are you telling all your business? You can say, because I made $500 at my first book signing, and that was just my first one.
How about that? How about
So
that?
How about that? Let's start there. So whoever is
Let's start.
asking or start, I would lead with that. So you mentioned sharing your story and telling it all. I would be Pierra Collins, new
Yes.
author. Sold my first $500, 50 copies on my first
That's
book
right.
signing. I would share that story because, again, that's your bragging right. And so I know further in your book, you mentioned helping girls to know their value and know their worth. You have to lead by example with that. So that's why
That's right.
3 times in the last 30 minutes, I've said I'm a master business coach because I've invested that time, that training, that money, everything that it takes to get to this level. So take where you are and stand. That's your platform now. Stand upon that and brag on it. I give you that permission, okay? Yes. All right, let me
So that's
see.
popping in. I'm sorry. They're popping in, and
It's
I'm getting
okay.
busy.
I love the fact that we're recording, so we're going to go back and watch this recording and make sure everything came through right. Let's see, we talked about mix. Now, you mentioned what kind of got you into the whole stripping thing was the fact that you wanted money and fame. And you know that's where a lot of young girls are in their early 20s. Tell us more about that because now we're journeying into the actual title of today's live about going from stripping to salvation. So let's talk about that, the money and the fame and how you get caught up at such a young age.
Well, it's very easy to get caught up. Let's say that. I didn't move to Atlanta wanting to be a stripper. I just wanted success. I was thirsty. I was hungry for success. I've always desired it. I just love helping people. I love being the life of the party, the light of the party. And so I'm always that girl. I'm still that young lady. I love to be, in the light. And so I connect with two young ladies, and with connecting, you have to be careful who you connect with, and so I was
Amen.
taught that, but when I got here, I was grown enough to do what I wanted to do. So some of what mom and daddy taught me, I kind of put it on the back burner, which caused me to get caught up with young ladies that was already in that lifestyle. And so I'm from Charleston. Charleston is a growing city, and we have a ball, and you can go there too in another level. But these girls were from much bigger cities, Chicago and California. So they had been in that life, and so they kind of just showed me the way. And so when I found out what they were doing, I was like, oh, shoot, I'm going to waitress. So I decided to get in the club just to waitress. But when I got in the club, the more you make, the more you want to make. And so as I stand back and sit back and watch, what's happening around me and realize like, wow, I'm really here. I'm thinking, oh, this is the life, because I got the ballers coming in, the players, the white collar workers. I mean, everybody is in the club. So it's not just the single guys, the pastors, the deacons, the husbands. They're in the club, okay? They're in the club.
Wow.
And so they're willing to empty those pockets and pay you just for conversation and a little extra. So the more I made, the more I wanted to make. And so when I got caught up and I thought about it, I said, well, if I'm making XYZ, just waitressing, heck, I can make more if I strip. And so I'm watching them and I'm looking, and of course I'm very confident. So I'm saying, okay, well, I'm prettier than her. Oh, I'm, thicker than her. I can do this. So the one thing I will say that I promised my mom I would never do is trick outside the club. And I've never done drugs. I'm 48 years old and I've never done drugs, never had a desire to try drugs. And so my mom said to me, well, don't drink anything in the club, because if they put something in your drink, you're going to go crazy. And so that stuck with us. But I heard that as a little girl. Once you open your drink, you never go back. And so in the club, I decided, okay, well, I can do this. And so I had to get my mind right. And lo and behold, I was doing it. And it blew my mind. And then the money made me want to continue. And
Yeah.
so it's just that life. The ball is the fast life. You're traveling, you're making money. You don't have to answer to anybody. A lot of women and girls that are in the club, they're actually college students, highly educated. I'm not a college student. I wasn't a college student. I don't have a college degree. But they were educated young girls and women, mothers that are putting their daughters and children through school, college, okay? So there's all types of women that are in there, but it's all about the dollar. So if you can go in and make some coins and make it, and everybody ain't in your business, they doing it. They're doing it. I mean, so the ones that are in church wearing the big hats on Sunday, yeah, and on the Pastor Days board and all that, you'll be surprised who's in the club. Because as Allison said, it's not empty. I can tell you that it's not empty. Those preachers are in there and they acting like they don't know why they're in. They know why they're in there. So it's easy to get caught up. It's easy to get caught up. And that's what happened to me. I got caught up and lost my way. And I thought I was going to take Atlanta by storm. And because I modeled for several years. And so being connected and you get with these photographers and, you know, they'll hook you up and give you free photo shoots and that type of thing, you know, for little benefits here and there. And so, you know, you get caught up. It's easy. It's so easy. So that's why it's important to have a relationship with God.
Right.
I have to stress that. And so when I say God has taken my mess and turned it into ministry, because I've been a saved young lady since the age of 13 years old. So from 13, I've known about God before that, but I tried to walk. But once I got away from what I knew and the people that knew me, I could become who I wanted to be. And so it was easy for the alter ego to kind of take charge. And she took point, and Nefertiti she took control of my life. And so it nearly cost me my life. But I just want to impart and tell them how important it is to have a relationship with God, number one. And if someone is valuing you, you got to know that that's not love.
Right.
It's not love.
So in the part of your book where we meet this Nefertiti, who is your alter ego, just like Beyonce used to have Sasha Fierce, now she's just Queen Bee. One good thing, and you guys will have to read the book about Nefertiti because she comes up a lot, and we think she's gone and she comes up again, and we think she's gone and she's reminding us, I'm still here, don't you dare me, I will come out. But what I got from it, again, I'm reading it from a different angle, master business coach, book coach. What I see is how in business, let's flip that alter ego, the Nefertitis of our past, and use that pain to now help us serve our purpose and bring in those profits in the form of packaging like a book. So if it helps you, and I'm such a book nerd. I talked about that before I brought you on. I read your book this morning. I just finished listening to Gary Vaynerchuk's Crush It because everybody was talking about it. Someone's actually reading it to me. I'm not sitting still long enough to do that. But what I realized was we all have these different ways of how we make it in business. So in Gary's book, he talked about not an alter ego, but how a guy had a business idea and he would approach people via email in the voice of his mother. So it was him sending the email, but talking like it was his mom. So that was kind of like his alter ego. But what I noticed was that's actually advised in the business world too. If you help selling or making sales calls or public speaking, put on your Sasha Fierce, put on your mother's voice, put on your Nefertiti, that bold woman who, you know, will get up and do whatever it takes, like you say, to make that dollar. So what I got from Nefertiti's story, I know it's deeper than what you share on these pages. That's probably all I need to know. I can't handle a whole lot, but I love the fact that she was willing to do what it takes and she knew her worth. So I say that because in business, sometimes it does take a, quote, alter ego to help you get to your next level, and just knowing she's waiting in the wings to jump out and help you push yourself even further. So those were just my thoughts on that and my take versus going down another road with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I never thought about it like that. Yeah, that helped me just now.
Yes, it was very enlightening. So I'm definitely going to share that. And someone helped me with that years ago in my business. I've been in business for 13 years. And we used to laugh about it, but sometimes you do have to step outside of yourself, send that email, cover your eyes, and just hit click or send and just get it done. Because sometimes you need that other personality to jump in. So anyway, that was just a deeper level that I got from that side of the story. But you said, you talked a lot about the enemy and how he shifted your mindset. So like I said, Nefertiti was always waiting in the wings, like, I can come back, don't push me, I got this if I need to, you know. Talk a little bit more about that.
Okay. Well, he tried to attack my mind. So if you notice at the book launch, that was the very first thing I got at, and thank God for not allowing me to lose my mind.
Yes.
On so many occasions, just over the course of my life, and especially the 9 years with trying to complete the book, he tried to attack my mind with so many things. And if you lose your mind, I mean, and like I said, a lot of times it starts in your mind, then it gets in your heart. And once it's in your heart, he has it. He has you. And so I came very, very close on several occasions because he kept trying to attack my mind about the way I was going to leave after the book has been published, um, or even that the book was never going to get published because I lost some friendships in the process of that. So that played a part. And I was saying, well, God, why do you have me doing this? And is it real? I was questioning God at one point. Is this really you? Because now my enemy is playing tricks with my mind. It's like, okay, am I really that friend because I'm not able to do the things that I was doing, or hanging out because I was trying to stay focused? And so when I lost my mom, that was another thing. I was slipping into depression because I counted on her for everything, so many things, and her approval meant everything to me. And so, and he knew that. He knew that. Um, and he just continued. It was a number of things that I don't want to go into a lot of more personal issues, but it was some things, and he tried to attack my mind. But because the will of God and my strength is strong, and I have a very strong personality, he was defeated and God was exalted. Um, so if you are not grounded and rooted in God, I've got to stress that the enemy will do exactly what have his way with you, and he will do exactly what he set out to do, and that is destroy your life. And so the word of God tells us he comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And so he attempted to do that on numerous occasions, even with my health. I've been a diabetic 28 years. I can't tell you the time that he was called. They had to call my parents and said, she's kidney functions are shutting down, her liver organs are shutting down. She's not going to pull through this. So being afraid, I never thought I would even be today at the age I am to see my children grow up. I had so many close times. So being sick as I was, always afraid that I was going to die before my babies, got out of high school. I never thought that I was going to see that. God has shown himself strong. My baby graduated from college, days ago. So it's a number of things, but the mind, as I said, mind is a terrible thing to waste. It is. And so when you're wasting, when you're living your mind, not just in education, but when you don't live for God, you're wasting time that you can't get back. And so that's the only thing that we can never go get is time. All this other stuff you can, make do and move forward and fail forward and all that good stuff. But time, you can't get it back. And so it is very important to know who you are and whose you are.
And keep control of that mindset. So when it goes to, I like how you really kept that alter ego Nefertiti in check. And we do have the power to do that through the power of our mind. We can shift our mindset. For those of you jumping on and off, you can get the book Clear Vision Through Cloudy Eyes over at bit.ly/Clear Vision Book. We're wrapping up with our new author, Pierra Fab Diva Collins. She has just kept it real in this book during this interview. I know you were kind of nervous about sharing your story or how much to tell as far as in interviews. You're doing phenomenal. I have, no comments. You're doing a great job. And you're filling us in on what's in the book, and you give the details and the backstory in each chapter. And I like that. Everything from telling, like you said, who you really see in these clubs. Because when you told us the first person you met and his title, I'm like, wow, so it kind of opens your eyes. Like I said, I don't know a lot. I choose to be naive to a lot because I can't handle a whole lot. I don't want to look at people different. But let's see. We're going to wrap up with that day that that night you were on your way to, it ties in. So the first thing that happened, you were on your way to an ATM, traveling on Roswell Road in Sandy Springs. I was just there 2 days ago. And you had an accident. We don't have to give the details, but I just wanted to talk about how that looked like what it was, a domino effect that ended up eventually with you losing your eyesight. So one thing kind of led to the next, and it's like you thinking it's let up, but then here comes something else. Talk about that, kind of going into that journey.
Okay. Well, right after the car accident, I'll say just before the car accident, I was struggling. I was having dreams. I couldn't sleep. Just stressed. and didn't know I was slipping into depression. And so I had the car accident. And as you said, it was a domino effect. So after the car accident, I lost my job and I was trying to pull away. The Lord had been dealing with me, and my sister had called, and asking me basically, did I date married men? And I expressed to her, no, I did not anymore. I didn't anymore. And she said, that's not what I asked you. Do you and have you repent to God for what you've done? And I'm at her, and I'm like 23, like, girl, please, no, I don't. Why don't we? She said, you're going to have to go back and you got to get this right. And so it was my sister that was leading me back to Christ. And so as I'm in that process of trying to get back to the straight and narrow that I knew, I lost my apartment, lost and that Jezebel spirit was controlling my life. Yeah. And so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to continue to ball out of control if I don't have him, if I don't have this, never thinking about God. And so it was one thing after another. And so my health began to fail. And I find myself struggling, went to an appointment and got an appointment, and boom, I'm on 75, and all of a sudden it's white. And everything is just blurry, it's white. And I get pulled by Henry County cop and stops me, and we're going through, and I went through that a little bit, got to the doctor, and he said, Miss Collins, you're going blind. And so I'm crying out to God. It's like, okay, God, my marriage is failing, my health is failing. I've went through all this. I'm trying to live for you. What is really going on? What is really going on? And nothing made sense to me. And the Lord began to deal with me, and I heard his voice like I'm talking to you and everybody that's listening about sowing and reaping. Sowing and reaping. And I'm thinking, well, Lord, I'm a good wife. I'm a good mom. I do this, and I'm not that girl anymore. And he said, yeah, and God gives us grace. I don't want to confuse anybody that God didn't forgive me, or that he didn't give me grace, because he did both of those things. But I had sown some terrible seeds in my days. So I had some reaping to do, just like each one of you. So we have to be mindful of what we do and what we say, because it has a reaping day. And it doesn't always hit us. Let me be clear, because it used to seem like it would take forever for it to come back around. But it's like quick return now. And so it doesn't always hit us. We have children. Yeah, we have children. So I'm always looking like, oh, Lord, when something happened and my daughters, I'm just like, oh, God, I don't want this to fall on my children or my grandchildren. So I try to be very careful about what I do in the seeds I've sown. So the sowing and reaping is definitely a part of a lot more detail. And how important it is to just be mindful of what you're doing, and be real fancy and snazzy about our children, but then, we can snap at somebody else's kid and forget, that's somebody's baby over there too, or that's somebody's husband, that's somebody's mom. So treat people the way that you want your loved ones to be treated. And so, it was truly a domino effect, but God's grace has kept me and brought me through it all. And so, like I said, he has turned my mess into ministry, and I'm just excited. I'm excited. I can't say it enough.
I'm excited for you too. Leslie's like, amen. Jackie's like, that's right. And I love how in your book, Clear Vision Through Cloudy Eyes, you dive into breaking the generational curses and trying to protect your daughters and not really wanting them to pay for your mistakes. Because we know the word talks about how, sometimes those curses follow, those generational things that you have to break off, and you dealing with it from parents' generations, grandparents' generations, and you don't even know why. So I like the fact that you addressed that in your book. You also dived into you and your husband's relationship. They're going to have to get the book to find out what happens, how y'all met. I love how you went into, let me find it, what he had on one day. You just like gave him the blues about what he had on one day. I thought that was so hilarious, but it ended up being a blessing in disguise for both of you. Again, I'm hinting around. Y'all go to bit.ly/clearvisionbook to get Pierra's new bestseller. Let's see. You says, on this journey called life, the Lord allows us to travel in a circle to get us to where he wants us to be. What goes around may very well come around. And that is so true, because For some reason, you know how you kind of get a word for each new year. My new word for this year has been full circle. And it kind of scares me,
Mm.
but it also excites me because I'm like, I wonder what God is talking about, full circle. But I love that you consistently addresses reaping and sowing, what goes around comes around, that karma, and making sure that you kind of nip it in the bud. You said your sister led you to prayer. You told God you didn't want to be that type of person anymore that dealt with the alter ego Nefertiti. You were getting it
Yes.
together when you got married, and then the story continues. So we're going to leave that cliffhanger right there because there's so much more that we
Right.
can talk about. But I love the fact that you took what you've been through, you share your testimony, um, and then you're not afraid. You're not afraid to share those actions. You're making better choices. And then I love how you say you consider how your actions affect others. So now you're really more conscious and cognizant of what you're doing, what you're saying, how you're treating people. And like you said, is that going to impact your children who are watching you? So let's see. You talked about studying God's word, spending time with him, and being the person he created you to be. And in the process of transforming from Nefertiti to Naomi, that was so beautifully put. You begin to discover all kinds of things about yourself. So you begin to change your thought process, the path your life was going down. Your thoughts changed your life. You said it wasn't easy. But where there is a testimony, there is a trial. So there's a testimony behind the trial. So I love that. And knowing that God loves you unconditionally, he forgave you, he washed you clean, and now you're covered in the blood of the Lamb as he leads you down that path of righteousness. Woo, girl. I just had to stop taking notes at some point because I said, Lord, we would never finish this. But I appreciate everything that you talked about. This book truly has an anointing on it that I know can bless other ladies who are going to read it. I can definitely see you having some good teachings from this. Not only what people are going to get on their own, but what you can help them to get. Because like I said, I got a whole new list of qualifications for Boaz. And they're not these superficial things. Because at first we start with he need to be this tall and look this way. Now I know to dig even deeper inside. Kenny, when you mentioned being able to cover you. Oh my God. That's something we don't even think about when we ask God for him. So all of that is on my new list. And I can definitely see you doing more with this book. So like I said, I have more notes. I will save them for later. I might do a review or something on the book coming up, but I wanted to just give you a moment to share with the book, talk about what the process was like. I know you're kind of overwhelmed with the support that you've had. Your book signing, which was last week, was phenomenal with the attendance. And then I love when you told me the other day, you said, well, AJ, when you showed up, it just made things official. I said, okay, you're making me feel official, But I love being a part
Yes.
of this journey. So can you kind of wrap us up with anything you want to share, anything you want to say? Before you say that, you guys, the website to purchase her book, Clear Vision Through Cloudy Eyes, is pinned in the comments below, bit.ly/Clear Vision Book. Go support. I think is it 15 on Amazon too?
It is. Yes.
Okay. So you guys click there, head over there, and Pierra, take us home.
All right. Well, I think we've already said everything that needs to be said. God has turned my mess into ministry. Know your worth. Ladies, please. And make you think that you're less than who God made you because you are special. You are called for a purpose. And each one of us have a purpose, a true purpose. We don't always get it right away, but if you seek him, you'll find out what it is. Because I didn't always know. I didn't always know. I love to talk. I love to, be the life of the party and all that. But God has taken that and turned it into a really good, a positive thing that I can, share my testimony. And so I'm just grateful that he allowed me to share. So I always hashtag, or you'll see a lot of times I hashtag chosen, loved, and protected by God. Well, that's who I am. That's what I am. I am chosen by God. I'm loved by God, and I am definitely protected by God, because if it had not been for him, I would have been 6 foot under years ago. If the enemy had his way, he would have killed me. So sometime I let him know, you should have killed me when you had the chance, because now it's going to be real. Because I am on my way, traveling, telling the women, the girls, even the men, I got a little something for them too, because I have a husband. So I know you know, some of the things that they go through is conscious of their feelings and certain things too that we can do a little bit better with. So I've learned, it's been a learning process. I'm still learning. I have not arrived. Please let me be clear. And like I said, I'm not delivered in every area. So I have to constantly stress that to people that may try to step on me the wrong way or push me to the left. Sister Collins go deputy on the other side and say, look, honey, I know how to stick up, but she sent me there and she might get cussed out. And I don't want to do it. When they push me, I tell them I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, and so the hood is not on me, it's in me. So when I'm pushed, I know how to go there and get them off of me, too, being saved again. So I'm not delivered in every area, and I'm not one of these ones that think they've arrived, not me. I am a mother, a wife. I make mistakes. I talk too much. Sometimes I go left. I still go left. I fall off that road sometime, and sometimes it feels good, and I say, God, I shouldn't have said that. And then I have to repent. But I know the power of prayer in repentance. So I will, ask him to forgive me. Just help me next time. But I just want to say I love each and every one of you that have tuned in and may watch the repeat, and just the support that has been shown to me beyond. So I am blessed beyond, and I'm so grateful. I thank you, AJ, for coming into my life, and God strategically did that because I went for one thing and he had something else there for me, and you were there with another author. So I was so happy to meet you and connect with you, somebody that was really genuine and that knows the Lord and that was willing to help me, and you have truly helped me. And so I just want to say thank you, and I look forward to a long relationship with you because I have a lot more training that I'll be following, your lead. And so I'm just excited about the new journey for us together, and I'm just grateful. So please go to BIT, Clear Vision book, and get your copy today.
So thank you, ma'am. And if you have to jump off, I understand. I'm going to wrap up with the rest of my notes that I have from your book. You can stay on, but nothing else is expected of you. I understand it's Mother's Day, and if you don't have the time to share with us, we would get it. But I'm going to leave you guys with just some more of my highlights from Pierra's new book, Clear Vision Through Cloudy Eyes, How My Mess Became My Ministry. Again, we thank Pierra for being with us today. She mentioned that she was ready for her breakthrough, and it seemed almost crazy in a natural sense to be confessing positive things when negative things were happening right before her very eyes. She also talks about without faith it's impossible to please God, and as you guys know, that is so true. It goes back to her opening statements of, if you are at a place where you're knowing that God has laid it on your heart to write a book and get the book out, but you haven't done it, how you have to take yourself out of it. And also digging into if you need that help and support. She just told you, I've been there with her helping to get this book out, sell it, make money, and get her message out there because it goes beyond a book. We talked about how her book just really dives into being anointed and built for the challenges that she was faced with in her life. And she also knew that God had a plan for her life, and that's for you too. God always prevails. So I'm just flipping through just the last few pages. She never lost focus on how to be the best mom that she could be, and spiritually, how she taught me something. Make sure that the man you're praying for, your Boaz, he's either at a place or he's getting to a place where you can he can cover you, pray for you, pray with you. And then she says, that's why we must know who we are and whose we are. So I don't know about you guys today, especially with it being Sunday. I know whose I am, and that's why I'm showing up today to help uplift a fellow author. She says she's learning to never get weary in doing good because you will reap if you do not faint. So I just really enjoyed going through, highlighting, getting some ideas for what new authors can do. If you're one of those and you need help writing your book, not only first you start off with going to bit.ly/clearvisionbook, get Pierra's book. And then if you're like, AJ, I need your help with writing my book, getting it published and promoting it, head over to thebossof.me/write, where I share more information about the program I have available, starting with the 21-day challenge. I met a lot of authors who said, AJ, I wrote a book, I've sold as many as I can, but now what? Some people think they know it all. Some people think they've done it all. I guarantee that you have not done everything that I share in this challenge with you. And it's not free, but it'll help you make your money back and then some. So again, thebossof.me/write is where to start. Pierra is leaving us with this in her book. It's easy to speak God's word, but actions speak louder. Let me say that again. It's easy to speak God's word, but actions speak louder. I'm flipping through. And I think that's all I want to share with you guys right now. Like I said, I may come back and do a review or add some more of the highlights from the book, but this is all we had time for today. So again, bit.ly/clear vision book is where to go get your copy on Amazon, only $15. Help an author. If you are an author, you know what that's like. If you're not an author, you will know what that's like when you need support for your book as well to help you continue to climb those bestseller charts. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. I am Coach Andrika J. Austin, founder of thebossof.me. Head over to thebossof.me/write. Get more information on how you can either write and or sell your first or next bestseller. Look forward to seeing you guys again soon. There is someone somewhere waiting on you to walk in your destiny, new author, so they can walk into theirs, because it's when you let your light shine, you give others permission to do the same. Until we meet again, my friends, God bless. Bye, y'all.